Imagine being warm through the whole winter without having to run your furnace or burn any gas, let alone plugging in an electric heater. It's just crazy talk, but Amish have lived this way for generations, and so far, they haven't called a fire brigade to come extinguish the candles yet. Join us as we cover 25 fantastic Amish tricks for keeping you home cozy all while using zero electricity, zero gas, and zero high bills. 1. Layer up with clothing. The oldest, I suppose, trick is layering on the clothes. First, wear a thermal base layer, which traps warmth against your skin. Then, add a thick wool vest, a far cry from being grandma's accessory. Just trust me on this one. The fashionable grandpas are really making a comeback now. Add some warmth on top by including flannel shirts, and voila! You now have your personal heating system without ever touching the thermostat. The beauty of layering is that you can easily remove a layer if you get too warm, unlike cranking up the heat and ending up feeling like you're in a sauna. The Amish have been using this method for generations, knowing a thing or two about staying warm without modern heating. They typically wear multiple layers of natural fabrics like wool and cotton, which work together to create insulating air pockets that keep body heat from escaping. 2. Wear long underwear. Long underwear is another fantastic way to stay warm in the winter. Simply put it on under your regular clothes, and you'll feel the difference immediately. It's like wearing a warm blanket that fits right against your skin. Long underwear is available in wool or cotton, and it's essential to keep the cold at bay. The Amish always wear long underwear during winter. It's a simple addition that makes a huge difference. And best of all, it won't cost you anything extra once you've purchased them. 3. Invest in wool socks. There's an old saying that goes, "Cold feet make for a cold body," and it's absolutely true. Your feet are like your body's thermostat. If they're cold, then everything is cold. Then comes wool socks, the best friend to your feet in winter. Wool socks are not just any sock. They are nature's foot warmers that have been intricately knitted to trap warmth within your toes. The Amish have used wool socks for generations since they spend much time outdoors during freezing weather. The right pair of wool socks can mean the difference between a miserable day and a pleasant one. And when cared for, they last through many winters, naturally resisting odors and keeping your feet fresh. 4. Use heating pads or warm stones. Need to warm up? Here's a tradition that predates electricity. Use heating pads or warm stones to warm up targeted areas in your home. Instead of turning up the thermostat, try this clever trick. The Amish heat stones on their wood stoves or in their ovens. Wrap them in thick cloth and use them to warm their beds before sleeping. Some place them under blankets while seated or tuck them near their feet. These stones hold heat for hours, releasing warmth throughout the night. If you do not have stones, regular heating pads are just as effective, warming the area without heating up an entire room. 5. Wrap up in blankets. Sometimes, the most simple solutions are the best ones. Blankets act as a cozy shield against the cold and work better than many people realize. All of this requires the choosing of the proper kind wool blankets, and quilts. These are your main guardians. The Amish master the making of warm blankets and managing to produce thick quilts that will not only keep one warm, but also become family treasures passed down for generations. Each blanket tells its own story in stitches and design. You don't have to be a master quilter to reap the rewards of blankets. However, having a few good ones in your living room lets you wrap yourself up while reading or watching TV. At night, layer them on your bed, putting the thickest one on the bottom and adding lighter ones on top, which creates air pockets that trap heat, similar to how birds fluff their feathers to keep warm. 6. Use curtains and drapes wisely. Most people do not know that windows could be warming them up instead of keeping warmth out during the winter months. Imagine that curtains and drapes can be the winter coat for windows. Without curtains, precious warmth just escapes out through the glass. The more the curtains, the better it will keep the home warm. Amish are good at this with their heavy wool curtains or even thick fabric drapes to stop chilly drafts effectively. They open their curtains wide during the day, allowing the sun to warm the rooms naturally. In short, they get free heating. When the sun is about to set, they close everything tightly to hold in that warmth. It's an easy but very effective means of keeping the indoor temperature pleasant. 7. Seal drafts around windows and doors. Cold air gets through every crack in the windows and doors around your house. Very tiny gaps can let enough cold air into a house to make it feel cold. Fortunately, this doesn't need expensive materials or sophisticated equipment. The Amish have perfected using basic materials to keep drafts out of your house. They make draft stoppers out of old fabric and stuff them with whatever works. Using cloth scraps, wool, or dry hay might be effective. Wait for a windy day. Cut an open piece of thin cloth and run it near your windows and doors. If it moves at all, you've found a draft. Once you have identified where the drafts are coming from, seal those trouble areas with whatever you have. Old towels make great door draft stoppers, while strips of cloth or wool work well on windows. 8. Make your own draft dodgers. A draft dodger is a long, skinny pillow placed at the bottom of doors and windows to block cold air. They sound sort of fancy, but they're just stuff in tubes preventing drafts from sneaking in. It's an easy DIY project. Use some old socks or fabric, fill them with uncooked rice, dried beans, or some of that nature stuff like straw or wool. These homemade solutions keep cold air at bay and can be placed wherever you feel drafts. You can even make them look cute with colorful fabrics or decorations to turn practical items into charming additions to your home. 9. Cook and bake on your wood stove. Ever notice how cozy the kitchen feels when you're cooking? It's not just the delicious aromas. Cooking with a wood stove also provides warmth to your home. The Amish connect their kitchen to their living space, knowing that good cooking means good heating. When preparing meals, the heat generated from the stove warms up the entire room. Cooking then allows the house to retain some of that heat through a partially open oven door. In Amish cooking, the household would often pre-plan the time they cook, often baking early in the morning so the heat generated from cooking is already available by daytime, and cook for dinner when temperatures start going low during evening. 10. Keep busy for heat. One of the best ways to warm up is just to move around. The Amish know this secret well, as they stay active throughout the day, whether they're tending to farm chores, building projects, or enjoying traditional games. Simple activities like walking, stretching, or even dancing while doing household chores can significantly raise your body temperature. Whenever you feel cold, stand up and walk around for just 5 minutes. You will be surprised by how warm you become. Another bonus is that it keeps you fit and helps with general well-being. 11. Seal and used rooms. Here's a straightforward trick. Close off rooms that you're not using. Why heat spaces that no one occupies? The Amish are masters of this approach, keeping their main living areas warm while allowing in used rooms to stay cooler. This practice conserves energy and focuses warmth where it's needed most. By closing doors to spare bedrooms and sealing off the formal dining room when it is not in use, they retain warmth in the spaces where people really congregate. This can be as simple as keeping the kitchen and living room warm while allowing guest rooms to be cool until needed. 12. Invest in a good wood-burning stove. There is perhaps no better way to heat a room than with a traditional wood-burning stove. These stoves are powerful and efficient, warming an entire room better than most modern heating systems. The Amish have relied on wood stoves as their primary heat source for generations, and for good reason. With access to firewood, running a wood stove can be much cheaper than using gas or electric heat. The key is positioning the stove strategically in a central location to distribute heat evenly throughout the house. 13. Wear layers indoors. Before reaching for the thermostat, put on a sweater or jacket. The Amish understand how important it is to stay warm inside their homes by dressing warmly instead of heating every room to summer-like temperatures. Natural fibers, especially wool, are great at holding warmth. A cozy sweater can keep you warm while you move from room to room, and it's much easier to adjust your layers than to manage a fluctuating room temperature. Having a dedicated house sweater can make those cold months feel cozier and more comforting. 14. Rice heating packs. Rice heating packs are probably one of the most intelligent ways to keep warm. Simple warmers can be made by filling fabric pouches with uncooked rice and heating them. Rice holds heat very well and gives it out slowly, keeping warm for up to an hour. They're versatile enough to be placed in beds before sleep, under your feet while sitting, or on sore muscles for relief. Adding dried lavender can also give them a pleasant aroma, making them even more enjoyable to use. 15. Hot water bottles for extra warmth. Hot water bottles are a classic solution for staying warm. Fill one with hot water and place it in your bed before sleeping, or use it to warm your lap while reading or watching TV. They provide comfort and warmth without the need for electricity. Just remember to check for leaks before use, and you'll have a cozy companion throughout the winter months. Conclusion. These 15 Amish-inspired methods show that it doesn't necessarily come with a pretty penny to keep warm during winter. It can be as simple as layering clothes and using draft stoppers, or clever ideas such as candle heaters and rice packs. Sometimes, the best old-fashioned ways to catch up with comfort during the cold winter months are really the best.